What's going on, everybody? Welcome to just another tech and gaming show. Here we are bringing you another episode of the podcast. I am joined, as always, by my co host, Victor. I don't think I announced my name, but
Hey,
it's Nick.
hey everybody.
So let's get right into it. If you are watching
Yes.
on YouTube, you are seeing me play Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild on Master Mode. I apologize if I am not of the highest caliber at this game at the moment. I'm usually excruciatingly good at fighting Lionels, and I'm probably going to just go through and try to kill as many of those suckers as I can, provided there are any left. But I haven't played for a while, so we'll see how it goes. And this is the first time I've been recording Switch footage, so take that as you will. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into what we've been playing this week. Victor, have you been playing anything?
I have I've been playing a bit of Red Dead Redemption and for nostalgia purposes, The Crew 2.
And didn't you say that you beat Outer Worlds? The Outer Worlds?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've been playing the Outer Worlds and I beat it and it was amazing. I just wish the story was a bit longer, but I had a great time. The game is awesome. Highly recommend it. Please play it. You will not be disappointed. All you Fallout fans, it will feel just like home.
Did you? So I have downloaded it and I didn't play any of it because I'm a sad sap that has played only other stuff as of recently. But did you? So you enjoyed it? Would you say it's as good as something like Fallout 4? Better, different experience?
um,
What would you like? Where would you put it?
I mean, it's definitely not Bethesda. Okay, so if you're wanting like a Bethesda like real close comparison, it's not gonna be it. But it's good. It misses that depth that Fallout has and Skyrim has. It's not a richly detailed world, um, but the playability is definitely there. The dialogue's there. The characters, you get to relate with them, and you get to like they're part of your quest and whatnot. So, I mean, it's not necessarily a Fallout play by play, but it is nice to see another company do something similar to what Fallout fans would expect. It's a really great game. Like if you love role RPGs, you will love Outer Worlds. You will not be disappointed. And yeah, I love it. I mean, I'm super juiced for it. I might even play it again on the PC because I have Game Pass. So start a whole new story.
That is good to know for those Fallout fans. I'm excited to play it. I as mad as people might get at me, I actually am not a huge fan of Fallout. I always want to be. I always want to be. But for some reason I can never really get into it too much. I can't even tell you the reason. I just don't know. It just
Yeah,
never kind of pans out for me.
I've had
But
my fair
I'm
share
excited to get
trying to convince
involved
people.
in it. Oof. I'm fighting the gold Lionels. I gotta tell you, these guys are no walk in the park, but I love it. This is what I live for some reason. Okay.
Definitely
Oh.
sounds like you.
Uh, it's a little bit hard to get back in the mix of things as I'm trying to do a podcast. So I have been playing, as you can see, obviously. Whoo, that took a ferry. I have been playing. I just got hit, and the Golden Miles they are not they're not gentle with you. I'll put it that way. Um, but I have been playing a up. No, you got to eat the food.
Eat
I've
that
been
food.
playing uh, Control as of late. I actually ended up getting that on
Mm.
sale for Black Friday. They had it for $25 at Target.
U.S.
Yes, here in the U.S. Here in the U.S. of A. So they had it for $25 at Target. I picked it up for the Xbox. It's pretty fun. I didn't play a lot of it yet. I only played about an hour and a half. It's really weird. Like, I didn't watch any trailers or anything for it, so I guess I didn't have any expectation. I don't mean weird in a bad way. Like, it's weird in an entertaining way.
Hmm.
Like, it's getting me involved in the story a little bit, but it kind of starts out with you already in like involved in the story. I don't know. It starts you out in the middle of things. I don't know how to explain it.
Huh.
Oh
That's
God,
very
I
interesting.
clearly I've really got to work on my skills at this game. But you know what? I always hate fighting these Lionels with these bats. I hate it.
Yep. For
This has
all
got to
you
be painful to
podcasters out
watch.
there, I am in the same boat as you because I cannot see exactly what's
Oh,
happening at this moment.
yeah, it's a
I'm
rough
using my
battle.
imagination.
I'm slaughtering him. You have no idea. It's great. Um,
Let's take your word for it.
I'm getting my butt kicked. This is just not going well.
Wow. I will.
It usually doesn't, to be honest with you, against the golden ones. They tend to be a little bit rough on the player. So anyway, I've been playing Control. I've been having fun with that game. I've been trying to play my Switch a little bit more recently. And I'm so excited for it. I bought Nino Kuni Wrath the White Witch remastered, and that game is incredibly fun. I loved that game on the PlayStation 3. I never beat it, so now I get the opportunity to try beating it on Switch. And
You know, I've not heard of that game. Could you just give me like a quick 10-second overview of what it
Of course
is?
I can. That was a really impressive move. I got to tell you, I'm pretty
Thank
impressed
you.
with what I just did.
Thank
Um,
you.
I
Oh,
you're very welcome to everybody that got to see. And let me tell you what I'm probably gonna make up for it. Yep, I just got my butt kicked. Anyways, so Nino Kuni Wrath
you
of
are
White
quite a
Witch.
character, man.
It is a game made by Level 5. They do an incredible job with animation, and that game was made in part with Studio Ghibli, which
Oh,
is
wow.
a famous Japanese studio known for movies such as Spirited Away, Howl's Moving Castle. It very much has that charm to it. It is an amazing game, and I would recommend it to almost anybody. You kind of have to be a fan of Japanese role playing games, so it's not really like just this game that anybody can pick up and play and be like, wow, it's incredibly amazing, because it's not like quick pace. If you exclusively play Call of Duty, you're not going to play this game and go, my God, it's changed my life. You're probably not going to enjoy it, but I would still encourage you to pick it up because I think it's incredible, and I don't know. I would just say it deserves every sale it gets, and I hope that it gets many more. Um, I'm
That was
just
very
spamming.
passionate.
I'm just spamming right now with bomb arrows. It's almost embarrassing in a sense that this is the way that I got to take this guy down.
Wow. I
Let's see if I can get away far enough. Um, I'm sorry if this isn't quite enjoyable for listeners as it is for viewers, but you know,
Oh no. Our listeners are just
whew,
closing their eyes and just they're
and just
they're
enjoying
essentially with it.
the sounds of me. Oh man, just in complete agony as I roll through all my meals and all my fairies, and it takes everything I have just to stay alive in this one single fight against one Lionel, using every
Yeah, it
bomb arrow at my disposal. Ooh,
yeah, just like
God!
or close
Oh,
your eyes and just
oh,
pretend that Nick's actually playing Goat Simulator instead of
yes.
you
Goat
know.
Simulator. I'm fighting a golden Lionel. What kind of goat are you? The black and gray goat. Oh,
Oh
your
gosh, that's the
stats,
worst one.
they're not what you need for the fight. Um
Oh, that's the worst one.
anyways, yeah, so I'm clearly I'm having a pretty good time here. Oh my god, dude, I've used so many bomb arrows against this guy. The bomb arrows are hard to come by. I'm really disappointed that this is how far I've sank. Remember, this is master mode, folks, so I'm not complete trash. Whoo! Maybe I
Yep.
am. That was rough. Okay, so anyways, oh god.
Wow.
I bought a lot of games for the Black Friday sale. I'm just gonna go over them real quick while I sit here. This Lionel fight is kicking my ass. I
Oh,
got
you bought some
Sekiro.
games?
I sure did. I got Sekiro. Shadow Side twice. Haven't tried it yet, but I did get it for $25 at Best Buy. Control, which I got for $25 at Target. I ended up getting a copy of Devil May Cry 5 for $15 for the PlayStation, but you can get that as part of Game Pass right now, to my knowledge, if you have Game Pass. Another... Man, I swear that I bought more games. Oh yeah, Red Dead Redemption 2 I got on the Xbox, and Resident Evil 2
Nice.
Remake I got on the Xbox. So I have quite a few games to play. Like I said, I got Ni no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch. I am excited to bust that out and play it on the Switch. It's too intensive to play and talk on a podcast with Ni no Kuni because it's very story involved. But it's a lot of fun. That's probably the purchase that I'm most excited for. Was Ni no Kuni Wrath of the White Witch. Did you end up getting anything on Black Friday, Victor?
I did, but
What
it
did you got?
didn't turn out to be games. I just got a bunch of movies. Budget's been a little tight lately, so just kind of spent money on some movies that I've been wanting. Spider-Man, Far From Home, John Wick. Best Buy
Good
had some pretty good
purchases so
deals.
far.
Yeah, Sing, that animated movie, that was pretty good. It's $5. So, just
Which
kind of
one?
brag.
Animated.
Sing, where they
Oh
like
yeah, yeah. It's the
a little
music.
koala.
Yeah, yeah. That's a really funny one. I didn't know that I would
Yeah.
enjoy it as much as I did when I saw it. I watched it for my niece and nephew, and yet I walked away enjoying it a lot more than I expected. Um,
Yeah.
I got some movies too. I got Spider Man. I ended up getting a lot of stuff for my niece and nephew, actually, which I was going to mention. We should absolutely talk about this, and we will. Um, I got Detective Pikachu for my niece and nephew, and as well as Shazam and
Oh,
the newest
nice.
Spider-Man movie. So I think they're going to have a great time enjoying those films. Oh, that's right, Urbosa's Fury. Come to the rescue. Okay, I beat the gold Lionel with not much left to spare. Anyways, yeah, movies were great this year. I think they had a
Yeah.
ton of amazing sales on movies and games
Yeah,
in
they did have
general.
some nice sales on games. Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
we didn't do a video like we wanted to on. I got to take a stock of my inventory. I am looking pretty piss poor here. We're gonna have to fight with the 5 arrow Lionel bow here. I'm just gonna go fight another gold
Yeah.
Lionel. This is so stupid. I hope everybody enjoys this. I'm losing fairies. I'm losing meals. Fighting gold Lionels.
And as
That's how
Nick
it
is playing
goes.
that game, I am playing Roblox on the Xbox. Don't
Roblox.
judge me. Don't judge me. My
No
brother-in-law got me
judgment.
into
No
it.
judgment.
Natural disasters. See me on natural disasters, people.
Okay, let's see. Here we go. Um, all right, let's go ahead and get a little Revali scale going here. On to the next Lionel. So, yeah, I had a pretty great Black Friday. I'm looking forward to playing all of those games.
You
We
get any
didn't talk about it
electronics?
earlier. I did get electronics, namely the Aver Media 2 Plus, so that folks can
Nice.
enjoy the Switch gameplay that they are seeing now.
In
Um,
4K. No, I'm playing. It's not.
no, there's a 4K pass through. Did you know it's not even there's no HDR pass through? Not that I have 4K or HDR, but
Wait, there's no HDR pass through?
yep, that's what
Oh, I had no idea of
that's
that.
what I heard.
Nah, people watching this on YouTube don't need HDR.
Oh my gosh. I don't know if I was saving this for anything, but I'm gonna have to use it now.
Yeah, but
All
that's a
right,
good purchase though. Definitely good quality streamer
yeah,
box.
I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see the end product. It looked like it would be relatively fine. I think it's gonna be good. Um,
Yeah, we could do some side by side gameplay. Finally, which would be pretty cool.
Yeah, we do have to do some side by side gameplay at some point. I plan on dodging that. Okay, so, anyways, I wanted to ask you what your thoughts were on what do you think is the best game console for someone to get this holiday season? Now, obviously, a lot of the sales I think are over at this point, but I think
Yeah,
we might see a few crop up. I think at the time, the best thing to get was probably that PlayStation bundle for $200. You get a slim PlayStation with 1 terabyte hard drive, and I
yeah, which
believe
is a
it
really
came
good deal.
with
Yeah,
Spider Man. We're gonna go for the Master Sword. I believe it came with Spider Man, God of War,
the
and
Spider Man,
Horizon Zero Dawn, and that was a
Horizon
crazy
Zero
deal.
Dawn. Oh,
Yeah, amazing
Horizon.
game.
Every time I hear Horizon, it just brings a smile to my face.
It's a good game. That
Oh,
game's incredible. I'm gonna have to get some gameplay of that on here someday. Or maybe you will.
yeah, maybe we both will.
Flurry Rush.
Ooh.
Anyways, yeah, side by side of the same game. Who played it better?
Yeah,
Anyways,
yeah, we'll do the same
um,
quest or something.
I think at this point, I know that we talked about it prior to the show, but I think that at this point, if you can't get a system on sale, I would actually highly suggest picking up the Nintendo Switch because it's the newest console. It has a lot of great titles. It even gets a lot of the titles that the Xbox and the PlayStation have got as far as third parties go.
Oh,
And first party games, in a lot of instances, are unmatched. I would say the first party games from Nintendo are much better than what Microsoft has to offer. In a lot of cases, maybe not all. And I would say that they rival that of Sony in a lot of instances too. I mean, Sony's got some great first party titles, but the Switch has got some amazing stuff. Breath of the
hey,
Wild is a great instance.
correct me if I'm wrong, but the the Switch, I believe it was the Lite that just came out recently too.
Yes, and I would say that the Switch Lite is probably um, one of the best consoles that you can get because of the value. Two
Yeah,
hundred bucks will get you. Am I not? I guess I got to do that. Damn, whew, the distance on that bow. So $200 will get you the Switch Lite. Now it doesn't connect to the TV. I think there might be ways around that. There might be ways to dock it anyway. But $200 gets you the Switch Lite. It can play, I believe, all the same games as the Nintendo Switch. Maybe not 1-2 Switch because you can't disconnect the Joy Cons and it doesn't connect to the TV. But other than that, I don't think that there's many other games that can't play on it. So it's still a full fledged gaming experience, just portable. But I think it's $200 well spent. It looks like it's pretty well
yeah.
made, pretty well received. I would personally spend the extra $100 and get the regular Switch. You'd have better battery life. And in addition to having better battery life, you're also going to have the capability to hook it up to the TV and play with friends. But I think it's at the discretion of the person playing.
And I don't
So
believe
you
there's
know,
a direct competitor at this time for the Switch at this point. I don't recall
no,
seeing one.
as far
They're
as
dominating.
mobile gaming goes, yeah, as far as the mobile space goes, they got
And
it. They got it made.
they've always been the king of mobile, like mobile gaming platforms. They've always, you know, they
They
had that
really
track
have
record.
been. No, that's true. It's an excellent point. Um, can I make a little rice dish? Let's see. I'm doing a little light cooking on the side, Victor, so just bear that in mind as we continue the podcast.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Save some for me.
Yeah, of course. Give you a gourmet rice dish. So,
Sounds good.
just to continue on, I did want to mention my nephew is. So I promise it's going somewhere. My nephew is 4 years old. He's turning 5. His birthday's around the holiday season, so it's coming up this weekend. And I wanted to say I ended up getting him a. I was thinking about getting him a Switch Lite, but he is pretty young. So instead of getting him a Switch Lite, I've decided to go with a Nintendo 2DS. And I just wanted to mention that
Classic.
I think it's actually going to be one of the best gifts that you could give such a young kid because it's cheap enough and comes with a game that I think if he ends up breaking it, I'm not going to be too mad. It's only $80 to get a 2DS. You can find them a lot of places, and you end up getting a game with it. So I just
Mm.
wanted to throw that suggestion out there. Any parents looking to get their kid something something for the holidays, but don't want to spend too much money or worried that it might end up getting broken or lost or something, I think you're taking a lot less of a risk with that than you would be with a Nintendo Switch Lite. And I think he's going to enjoy it just as much. I actually had him play my. Yeah, I got the little bonus. I ended up letting him play my 3DS, and he loved it. So I think he's going to have a hell of a time with the 2DS. And like I said, you can find them pretty much anywhere still. So um, good
That
holiday
is awesome.
suggestion from us. Plus, 3DS games are really cheap, and 3DS games are pretty easy to come by. Now, I think,
GameStop people, GameStop.
yep, that's what's up. Swing by, grab a couple used games, make it a holiday
The
party.
Goodwill. I mean, okay, this might be a little weird, but I've seen quite a few games at the Goodwill for that console. So if you don't want to go to that actual legit game store, Goodwill might be a good option as well.
Amazon also, it's hit or miss with Amazon, but Amazon has a lot of 3DS games pretty cheap. Still new, some of them used, just depends. Also, hit up eBay. I've been shopping on eBay for things that I don't need, and I find that they
Mm.
have a lot of those. So, um,
eBay. Who still shops on eBay?
I still shop on eBay. Um, anyways, so um, let's get into the actual podcast here and dive into streaming. Actually, you know what? I want to talk.
Yes.
Nah, let's leave this last bit till the end. But let's go ahead and start talking about streaming, which we probably talked about
Okay.
too much on this show. I apologize. I have a few more meal spaces left. You guys are just gonna have to watch. Um, but uh, we have right now a new streaming platform for video in Disney Plus. Now, you and I both got it.
Mm.
I actually ended up getting a
Yeah.
year for free through Verizon, and you are currently paying for it.
I am currently uh um a lucky family member of someone who has
Oh,
it. So
well, that's what's up. Not a lot of problems with that.
nope. So yeah, it's been pretty good. I've watched a couple movies on it. I really can't wait. There's some movies that I want to see that aren't on there yet, but I know due to licensing and things like that, it does slowly kind of tack on. But I love it so far.
Yeah, I've been having an okay time with it as well. I think there's a lot less than I kind of expected
Mm.
on there. I really thought the catalog was gonna be way bigger,
A little
but
underwhelmed.
I honestly kind of am, and I don't think that's bad. Because they still have a lot of stuff. It's just that I ended up buying most of these movies already. So if there's ever a time for me to pay for it, if there's not a lot extra than what I see now, I'm probably gonna let it go. But otherwise, it's okay. I think that it's a relatively decent streaming service.
Yeah.
Um,
And for the price, I mean, it's the cheapest one on the market so far.
yeah, $6.99 isn't a bad price. I think that if you have kids, it's almost a no brainer to go ahead and pick it
I
up.
mean, yeah, if you buy one Disney movie that's like 30 years old, it's still like 20 something bucks. So I mean,
It's
their
true. I mean,
prices.
that's why I say it is. I think it's worthy of the price. It really depends, but I do think it's worthy of the price. I don't think you're wasting your money in getting it.
Yeah.
Um,
Why pay 20 bucks for each Toy Story? You pay 6.99 and watch all of them at your convenience, except for the
yeah, I
last one.
mean that's true. I think that the thing is though, it's like this might be a service that people buy into temporarily and then just let it go and then come back and leave again. Um,
Yeah.
I have a tendency to click B instead of A because I'm so used to playing the PlayStation. Just so that everybody knows why I all of a sudden leave menus for no reason, for seemingly no reason. There's a reason. It's because I
There is a reason.
am not used to this. Um, let's see. Now, what was the other thing that I really wanted to talk about here? Oh, that's right. Have you watched The Mandalorian?
I have not, but I have been hearing nothing but great things about that show.
So I watched not a ton of it, just one episode, but I had a great time. I thought it was really entertaining, and I'm for sure going to continue to watch that show.
Did did it take you on a journey?
It took me on an amazing journey. Of course it did. That was a silly
Jealous. I need to
question.
start watching this ASAP.
Yeah, it's a good show. I would highly suggest it, and I think that you'll probably have a good time watching it if you check it out.
Thank
Um,
you. I definitely will. I'll
now
let you know next
let's,
podcast episode what I think about it.
yeah, absolutely. I highly suggest it, and I think I'm going to continue to watch some episodes of that. Damn, two little, two little defense ups instead of three. We're going to need more for those Lionels, but don't worry, I'm on the job. Um, all right, there we go. Just had to sort my inventory, and I got to get my butt back out there. It's Lionel fighting season. Um, ooh, did I kill all three in this area yet? Oh, I hate going here. It's three Lionels in an area, each one of them harder than the last.
Mm. What's a Lionel?
Anyways, a Lionel, you should look it up. It's kind of like a what are those things called? A centaur, but with the head of a lion.
Ah, gotcha. I will look that up
Terrifying. It's
and
terrifying. That's what it is.
prepare. Terrifying.
Yeah, prepare thyself because those things don't play. And now I gotta switch to my winter coat. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think that I'm ready for all this. But I'm gonna go out and ooh, yep, he's alive. He's alive and well. That is not good news. Not for me.
That's
He's already
horrifying.
gonna see me pretty soon. Um, yeah, this has just turned
Lionel
into
Richie.
the Lionel Richie. Yep, that's what we'll call this one. Which one is this? I think this one has a spear. Yep. Oh no, wait, this is the sword one. Oh, I love fighting the ones with swords. Oh, I did not want to do that. I started attacking him with a very weak bow, but it has a really good distance on it, so it zoomed in
Mhm.
super friggin' high. That was just so stupid. That just didn't pan out the way that I really wanted it to. Anyway, irregardless, I love these ones. These ones are so easy to counter. Um, oh wait. Oh wait. Don't. Yep, that's right. Okay. No, they could still hit the ground, and when they hit the ground, it doesn't end well for you.
It does
Um,
not.
lost my sword. I'm sorry, lost my shield. Um, but oh come
Sword
on,
and
that was
shield?
so close.
Haha.
Yeah, sword and shield. We're gonna talk about that one later. Now we should give our impressions on the Mandalorian next week. Maybe we could watch as much of it as possible. But for the time being,
Yeah, definitely.
let's talk about. Ooh. Sorry, I lost my sword.
Let's do that.
Yeah, okay, so let's talk about Google Stadia, the state of Google Stadia. So I have seen,
Stadia.
so I didn't buy it, you didn't buy it, we both know that, but I've seen so many things about how this is just a completely piss poor service. And I can't say I'm
I
surprised. I don't know about
I think you
you, but
dodged
I
a
can't say that
bullet
I'm
when you
surprised.
previously mentioned you were gonna get it early, so you might have dodged a bullet on this one.
I didn't necessarily want it, but I thought that it would be kind of entertaining to talk about it on the podcast, and I'm glad that I didn't even bother because it seems like it's total crap and completely half baked. Now, I want to mention their ads are super cringy and they give me
What?
not enough context as to what it is. If I wasn't savvy and like knew about it, I just don't think I would
Uh-huh.
watch that ad and have any interest in the product. It seems like an ad from
Yeah.
2017. Like it's all meme worthy and super shitty.
You
It's
know, I get that same exact vibe. I didn't. Wow, we're on the same
uh,
page there. That's
yeah, it
crazy,
was
man.
not. I was not impressed. I'll put it that way. Okay, I'm
It's
just
like,
gonna.
do they even know who their market is? Like, I don't know. It just didn't. It was pretty bad.
I
It's like
agree.
those
That's what I'm
telephone
saying.
ads.
Is I'm really concerned with that. I'm concerned for anybody that ends up buying into it because I'm really like I believe it's going to go away. Google Stadia is not going to be here forever. I just cannot believe that Google Stadia will be here for an extended period of time.
Yeah, they just wanted
I
to be
think
the
they'll end up
first.
shutting
That's
it
all.
down. Yeah, I don't know. I think there's a chance that they could save it. It probably has good bones, but I just don't think that they're going to. I think Google's going to drop it like it's hot. You know,
Yeah,
that's what they
the th-
typically do, and I don't know. In disappointing Google fashion, they'll let it go.
yeah, and I could be wrong, but I don't think any other upcoming streaming gaming platform is gonna have you pay for the service and the game separately either. You know, so I don't see that happening. Even though I mean, I guess it kind of happens with people who have Xbox Live and PlayStation Live and stuff like that.
Well,
But I
Xbox
don't
Live, I
know.
believe you get to keep the games at when any games you get during the
Oh, the
free
games for
when they
gold,
hand
yeah,
out free games. Yeah,
yeah,
and yeah, I would agree too. It's like sure we pay for Game Pass, but I feel like we get a lot out of Game Pass. You can download them
oh
native to
yeah,
your system, and then it plays native on your system. Now the PlayStation one is a little bit different because I think you can download PlayStation 4 games direct to your system, but you cannot obviously download PlayStation 3 games direct to your system so that's played over the cloud. But it's based off of an infrastructure that is currently working, you know. So
yeah.
you're you're competing against infrastructures that work, and you're bringing out an inferior seemingly infrastructure that just doesn't work very well. I don't know
Mhm.
what Google's gonna do. I'm just not sure what they're gonna do. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm
Yeah.
going through meals left and right. I'm gonna run out of ingredients pretty soon. I'm running out of
But
shields.
I think the holiday season coming up, it might generate some more. I mean, I think naturally it's just gonna naturally grow. It might not be to their expectations, but I don't know. Like you said, it's kind of sketchy a bit. So I don't really see a hopeful future, and I don't think many people see a hopeful future for it just because of the track record and kind of how the first impressions are on the service. Um, I don't know. I honestly hope they can work it out because I'm always down for new innovative alternatives. If I ever did want to go that way, it's always better to have more options than less options
You
until
know,
XCloud rolls out.
right? Everybody's been saying this. I was just about to say xCloud is allegedly like way better or looks far more impressive and is in beta. So I think xCloud is going to be more impressive, and I have a lot more interest in xCloud than I have in Google Stadia. And I don't think that Google's going to save it. I mean, they could prove me wrong, which by all means, I don't really care, but I just don't think they're ever going to develop as big of a market. And I think a big problem that like a company like Google has is they're so big that when they launch a product like this, they need for it to be massive. It's not this tiny company like taking on this little project. It's this big company taking on a project that they want to be absolutely massive, and that's a huge problem. It's a problem that they probably need. You know, I don't know, 10 million subscribers or something like that. They have the numbers, I don't, but they probably need some X amount of million subscribers in order for them to consider it worth their time. Otherwise, it's not going to be worth their time, and they're going to can the project even if they only have a few 100,000 subscribers, which I don't even think they're at the millions. I kind of feel like they would announce it if they were. So I'd be surprised if they were, honestly. Come on. Oh, that's not what I
Yeah.
wanted to happen at all.
And just to remind you, Nick, before we end this podcast, I know we're a little premature, but I did want to drop a Easter egg in there before we finish up. So
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, before we finish up, we can definitely talk about an Easter egg. But I don't think we need to talk too much more to Stadia. I don't have any interest in it.
yeah,
I'm real worried about people that buy games on there because you're paying full price to play games on a server. You're buying a license to a game. My concern is if Google ever loses the right
yeah,
to provide that game to its users, that could pose a huge problem. Like, let's say Red Dead
yeah,
Redemption 2 they're no longer able to provide that to their users. It doesn't matter. You bought a license to a game, but the distributor can no longer distribute the product. So I'm real concerned when it comes to that kind of stuff for sure. And I don't know. Time will tell. I think time kind of already has told, and it's just not what it should be. It's not
Yeah,
finished.
it's a
They
whole
they
new
might.
ball game when it comes to licensing and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so for sure. And like I said, we don't have to talk much more about it. We can leave it at that. But I don't think it feels worth the wait. And I think that too, some of the arguments that they had where they're like, oh, Google Stadia, it doesn't take up any space. Well, it absolutely does take up space. It takes up the space of a Chromecast that ends up overheating. And then another argument that they have pretty regularly is that I think another argument they have is that it's cheaper. It's totally not cheaper. You could buy an Xbox. I would much more highly suggest purchasing a Xbox One X. You have native 4K in some games,
Yeah.
and then
You get the convenience of having it local. You don't have to
yeah,
be connected to the internet. That's the big
I
thing.
agree.
Internet goes
Yeah,
down,
huge
power
deal.
goes, and you're like, yeah, you don't want
You
to
have it
be
right
like
there on your console, and the Xbox One X can be found for $350 in some cases. It certainly was on Black Friday, and it even
man,
came with Jedi Fallen Order. And I
that's a
would just
great
say
deal. That is
go
a
for
great
that
deal.
instead. But we could push right along here if you want
Yeah,
into the next topic.
definitely.
I don't really have too much more to say on Stadia. I don't know if you do.
No, we'll just see what happens in the future. We'll do our best to stay on top of it and keep you guys informed. But right now, it's
Let's go
it's still kind
barbarian
of
level.
fresh, and it's a rotten fresh basically.
Yeah,
It's not really good.
it's not fresh. It came out rotten. They got to work on
Thank
this.
you.
They got to get it figured
Yeah.
out. But anyways, on to something else that people are sour about. Pokemon Sword and Shield. So I think that Pokemon Sword and Shield has been tread on quite a bit as of late, and we're going to tread on some more. Now, I don't want to break into it like a huge, vast amount. I want to kind of get us started before continuing gameplay here as to what it is that's going on with it. So, Pokemon came out. It's the first mainline game on the Nintendo Switch. Now, we had Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee. I have to not play for a second because I'm closer to the situation than Victor is. So I kind of have to
Yes.
explain it to him, and I really want to hear an outsider's perspective. I think that it can, add a lot to this.
I would actually like to hear an insider's perspective.
So the game comes out. It's $60. It's a mainline Pokemon game. We had Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, but we had a different expectation for those games. Now those are remakes of the originals, so there's a little bit of nostalgia there. I actually did like them, and I thought it was an interesting and different take on the Pokemon experience, so I enjoyed it. Looking forward to Sword and Shield until I kept hearing more and more news about what was going on. They are missing more than 400 Pokemon out of the roster, which means that only about half the
That is
Pokemon are
not an
included.
exaggeration. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not an exaggeration. That's actually about accurate numbers. Now, I don't have the accurate numbers, so I'm not going to say specifically because I'm just not that invested in the
Ballparking it.
game. But it's around 400 is what I've heard. They've removed over 150 moves for the Pokemon, which is also really bad and something that they, I believe, didn't even touch on. Um, they the game I think has some frame rate issues occasionally. It has poor draw distances, and then there is a very notorious tree in the big open area that's available to the player that is just piss poor quality. And a lot of people say it's a really good indication of the game because that piss poor quality tree is a copy and pasted tree all over that area. And you just have a poorly rendered tree in a Nintendo Switch title that looks like it could be on the Nintendo 64.
Crappy tree
So
times ten
it
thousand.
it kind of shows what a lot of people are calling laziness from um, the Pokemon Company and Game Freak, and I wouldn't necessarily call it laziness. I would just say it's probably what you get when you have such quick turnarounds on these games, and one of the first entries from them on the Nintendo Switch. I certainly think that they could have done better, and I really would have appreciated if they had delayed the game a year to get more Pokemon in the roster, if not all of them. And then if they had better excuses, because one of the reasons why they said they couldn't fit all the Pokemon was the animations. They were doing higher grade animations, making them look better and more realistic, and that was just a total lie because the Pokemon still just bounce up and down and then just do the same reused assets from the 3DS. So maybe it's not reused assets, maybe they're fully new renders, but they took it straight from the old games. Like the concept of all these moves look exactly the same from the old games. And I'll admit it's still the best looking Pokemon game to date, but it is not the best looking Switch game. And I think it doesn't need to be the best looking Switch game, but it needs to be better than it is. And unfortunately, that's not going to happen. Nintendo also did us a huge favor by telling us that they don't plan on patching any of the old Pokemon in. So if your favorite's not in the game, I guess it sucks to be you.
Buy
So
next year's version.
yeah, I guess. So I'm not super excited. I'm going to go ahead and get the fight going here in the Legend of Zelda. So it's going to be a little bit harder for me to keep on talking, but I'm just going to push through anyway. So it very unsurprisingly is not been well received by fans, but for some reason has still been really well received by critics, and I think that that's kind of shocking. Now there are disparities pretty frequently, I would say, when it comes to fan and critic ratings, but this is a huge disparity, and I I just don't know what to think. Now you could look at the Metacritic scores. Last time I checked, I think that it was a 4.4 from the fans, and a what did the critics give it? They gave it really high, 8.1 or 81 on Metacritic, and I think specifically the outlets GameSpot and IGN gave it, I believe, a 9 from GameSpot, and then I'm pretty sure it was I believe it was a uh, 9.3 from IGN, and a lot of people are in the comments just roasting them, going, 9.3 Pokemon exists, things like that, and that might be a little bit harsh in terms of the critic. I mean, I don't know. You dish the review out, you got to accept the consequences if people don't really like it. Um,
Yeah. Your name's on
but
it, buddy.
yeah, that's just the unfortunate truth. So, um, all right, got to collect some good weapons here. There we go. Let's go do another test of strength. Anyways, and my power has been restored for the Master Sword. So, anyways, I kind of wanted to talk about that. Not necessarily in terms of the game. I mean, we just covered it as much as we could right there. And my thoughts on it are that I just don't want to buy it for $60. Maybe for 40 if there's a sale at some point, but I just don't think I'm going to buy it for $60. And I don't entirely want to encourage Game Freak's behavior with this, because while I'm not saying that they need to work their asses off to get me an incredible game, I am saying that they need to try a little bit harder for me to justify spending the money on that game. If they
Just try.
yeah, come on, just try. But if they would
Jeez,
put,
guys.
yeah, if they would put more time into it, then I would be more interested in picking it up. I wouldn't care if they delayed the game. I think that they just had to get it out. But I also think, too, we're looking at a game that doesn't have microtransactions in it, and for them to scale it back and not have as many Pokemon and not have as good of visuals and get it out in the time frame that they did, I'm not surprised. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to pick up the game. Now, a lot of reviewers from these companies, I'm not going to name any specifically, even though I did name that IGN and GameSpot gave it pretty high marks and then got pretty well roasted for it. A lot of them are saying that Pokemon doesn't deserve this criticism and that we should just shut up and buy the game. And to that, I have to say, bad take. That is pretty shitty, in my opinion, for anybody to come from that position of privilege to be given free review copies and to probably have been given a free Switch, and then to tell us to shut up and buy a $60 game and to not be babies, quote unquote, about the situation it's a pretty bad take. And again, like I said, pretty shitty. I don't think that you should act that way,
And,
game
and just
reviewer or
so
not.
yeah, and if like just like if as if a bad movie came out, oh, go still watch the movie. If you don't like it, don't buy it or don't watch it or don't buy it. Like they'll feel that. So like that's just ridiculous how they would respond like that. Like it doesn't make any sense. Like I think that's super immature of them.
Yeah, I don't think that there's any point in responding like that, and I really don't. I can't condone that behavior, so like I don't want to take part in mentioning who they are or reaching out to them directly in any capacity, like on whatever. I mean that's my take on it right now. That doesn't mean that that won't change in the future. I could I could hate. I may hate to say it, but it's just sometimes you get upset enough that you have to say something to somebody and put them in their place in terms of
Yeah.
ignorance, not necessarily being rude, but I think constructive
Ignorance.
criticism is always warranted. And unfortunately, when you dish out a game like Nintendo did, you're going to get constructive criticism on Pokemon Sword and Shield. But
Yeah.
that's my kind of insider's perspective. Not really insider's perspective, but my perspective, having played a majority of the Pokemon games. And I don't know what's your perspective, Victor. Do you think that they should have tried harder in terms of getting all the Pokemon on there? Do you think that it was okay? Do you think fans are being babies by having criticism? Should they just shut up and buy the game?
Um,
I'm
I
obviously
really
loading
think.
these questions a little bit, but
Well, I'm just gonna disregard everything you said, and
perfect.
basically, I think that okay, as a consumer, of course, we want to see all the games in there. Of course, it makes no sense in this day and age why you can't have every Pokemon in there. It just doesn't make any sense.
Right.
There's
I
no
should say I
technical
don't think
limits.
there's technical limitations. There might be developer limitations, but I don't think there's technical limitations.
Yeah, and I think
Also,
it's
bear in
there's
mind,
always that.
Pokemon is the most profitable franchise on the planet. So they have the money to put development into this project.
Oh yeah, and the thing is, if they make one game that has everything on it, who's to say the next game they make is not going to sell as great? Like they got to keep the longevity, the life of the franchise free. That's why they have different versions and different models, or like they have a
Right.
whole bunch of different features like that. They don't want to give you everything. They want to give you bits and pieces to keep you coming back for more.
For
It's
sure.
sustainability, but I feel like the fans deserve it. At least let them. Okay, I know microtransactions are a bit finicky, but I mean at least have some way people can get the few Pokemon that they want, at least at a minimum.
Right.
Open a
You
door a
you
little
get
bit, crack
fan
it open or
favorites,
something.
and
Yeah,
everybody has their favorite. You have 800 Pokemon. I know it's a lot. I know it's probably a lot for the developers to bring out. But I'm still of the mindset that this is what you've created. You created a franchise where people are looking forward to having all of the Pokemon. That's part of the theme. Collect them all. Gotta catch them all. Which is can
yeah,
no longer be the theme when it comes to this game, and that's where I kind
yeah.
of
Collect them
wonder.
all that are in the game.
Yeah, gotta catch all of the ones remaining. There was a big extinction wave that hit the Pokemon. Yeah, just add it in as part of the story. Maybe we would just, then maybe we would just accept it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm just really disappointed how they handled it and how like the whole criticism and stuff was. I don't think that's really.
To be fair, I
I
don't
think it just
think
shows how. Go.
Nintendo. I mean, just to market, I don't think that Nintendo has said anything negative towards the fans because that's just not the typical Nintendo fashion, and you got to
Yeah,
respect that. It's really just these um, media outlets that have said a handful of things, and I think that they probably shouldn't do that.
yeah. Because all in all, people are gonna buy it. If people want a Pokemon game, they'll buy it, whether they like it or not. Like this day and age, there's not been any one
And
huge
I
type
think
of
you're right. They'll
protest to
see
where.
it. They'll see it in the next installment. This installment will still probably sell relatively well, but I think that the backlash is really going to hit in future games. Like they're going to notice
Yeah,
in future games that they don't get nearly as many sales because people are just backing out.
yeah. I mean, it's gonna reach a break. It's gonna reach a breaking point. It's just hard to
Yeah,
know when that breaking point is.
exactly. Um, let's see. What else was I going to say? I mean, I think we've covered that pretty well. I don't really want to.
Yeah,
I don't really want to tread too far into that because, like I said, we've covered it pretty well, and we don't want to end on a somber, terrible note of how much of negativity. So let's talk about the game of the year contenders. So we're here.
yeah.
We're at the end of the year. We've seen a lot of great games this year. that of which you and I have not played very many. But I still feel like there were some great games that came out. I hope that we can play them within this last month so that we can get some impressions out on those games in a future episode.
Oh yeah.
As a side note, I think that if you and I can really buckle down and play quite a few of these games that have come out in 2019, we might be able to do something in mid-January maybe or early January talking about our opinions on some of this stuff.
Oh yeah,
So
for sure.
let's,
I'd love that.
yeah, I think that we definitely should, and I think that we will. And we probably will. But let's talk Game of the Year contenders as far as what we've seen and what we think will hold up because of user and reviewer scores. So let's go ahead and start the list with The Outer Worlds. That's a game that you played.
Yes.
Devil May Cry 5 came out earlier this year, in case anybody forgot. We also have Death Stranding, a very artsy game from Hideo Kojima himself. I'm kind of excited and looking forward to playing that game. I don't know if I want to pay full price. I don't know what it is about that game that's making me not want to pay full price, but maybe it's because I have 1,000 other games. We have Resident Evil 2, which the remake, which I have. I'm looking forward to playing that. We also have, let's see, down on the list here, Fire Emblem Three Houses. I have that game, been playing it. That game is amazing. I will certainly have some impressions on that game at some point in the future. I haven't played a lot of it. That's why I didn't say I've been playing it. But I have played it, and I love that game. It has gone pretty well. No, I can't see my enemy, but I know that he's not doing something great. Okay, here we go. That's what I'm talking about. All right, okay. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice is next on our list. We got Days Gone. That came out earlier this year. And Star Wars, what was it? Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order? Yeah.
Yes.
That one, neither of us have played, but maybe one of us will play before we do our impressions on the games of 2019. That one looks good, rated pretty highly. Any of
Oh
those
yeah,
games
definitely.
stand out to you? Anything that you've played and think are on your radar?
I really hope Outer Worlds gets it. I mean, I just love the game. I love that game type of RPG, open world. Really immersive kind of feel. So I want to see that definitely get Game of the Year. Will it happen? I don't know.
Maybe,
Probably
maybe
not.
not. Yeah, it might
Yeah,
get
but
something. I mean, that's the thing is that there's lots of awards that you can win, and if it's a
yeah,
good game or if it's a great game, it usually goes home with something or at least as a nominee.
yeah,
Um,
definitely. That's where I'm hanging my hat right now so far.
I haven't played a lot of these games. I played Devil May Cry 5. I thought it was a lot of fun. I did enjoy it. I'm absolutely going to go back and beat it before we do our impressions video. I think that that is pretty well deserved. It was a huge, huge win for fans to see that Devil May Cry 5 was coming out because we had Devil May Cry, I'm sorry, DMC come out, and I know that a lot of people didn't like that. I actually didn't mind it. But I also didn't play Devil May Cry 1, 2, 3, or 4. So that's probably why I didn't mind so much. But Devil May Cry 5 is great. I'm having a lot of fun with it. I think that it's phenomenal. Fire Emblem Three Houses is really high on the list for me. I'm super excited to play Sekiro Shadows Die Twice because I've seen nothing but good stuff for that, and it looks just different enough from the Dark Souls formula that I think I'm going to have a lot of fun with it.
Oh,
Star Wars, I think, is probably the one game on our list that is, well, probably Days Gone, honestly, is the one game on our list that may not even have a lot of nominations, probably isn't going to win Game of the Year from a lot of outlets, probably isn't even going to be considered by a lot of outlets, but I know that fans really enjoyed it. I haven't gotten to play it, but I look forward to playing it. Of course,
in the near future.
along with the other massive list of stuff.
Yes. Your contributions keep us going to bring new
Yeah,
fresh content.
yeah, your contributions, your feelings of good thoughts reach us. In case you didn't know. Um, Oh, that was a good dodge. In case you're wondering, I did not make the dodge. Anyways, let's see. Oh yeah, so I did want to talk to you about one last thing, and I know you said you have an Easter egg for the end. So, I wanted to talk about the Motorola Razr, the updated Motorola Razr, coming out, I believe, in January 2020. I'm pretty sure that I saw that
Coming up
somewhere.
soon.
This guy's going down like a sack of bricks. Anyways, that phone got showcased earlier in November. I think actually late November, I should have said. That phone got showcased in November. Looks impressive. It has a similar form
Really does.
factor, has a screen and camera on the outside of the phone, on the outside of the clamshell design. We have I think it's a 12 megapixel camera. There's only one camera on it, but you can see yourself when you use it because you close the phone.
One camera? This is
Yep.
2019.
You close the phone, you aim it at yourself. You have a screen on the outside. I believe it's a 2-inch OLED. I think it's a 2-inch OLED. I assume it's touchscreen, full color. Open it up. It's a full folding display, top to bottom. I think it's only a 6.2-inch screen, so it's not particularly massive. But I kind of wanted to hear your thoughts on that, and then I also wanted to mention a couple things myself. But what are your thoughts on it so far, Victor?
I think it looks great. Um, I'm a little surprised they didn't come up with a whole new type of phone. They went to kind of remake an older version with a new twist, you know. Um, However, I think it looks great. It functions great from what I've seen on the hands-on. I think it's gonna do very well considering how the other uh, foldable phones are doing right now. Um, I don't know.
So
I think out of all the foldable phones, this Motorola Razr is definitely going to be the belle of the ball.
So I agree with you. I think it's the most impressive looking folding phone that I've seen. I think that this is the one phone in practice, or like this is the concept phone that I see that I think it actually kind of works. The folding phone works in a
Yeah,
sense. Now, it's not necessarily going to give you a much bigger screen, but it's an interesting design, something that I could see myself buy into. Here's the problem with it. Now, it's kind of more like a high, like a mid-range, mid-high range phone. So it's not like particularly just gotta leave this area. It's not particularly phenomenal in terms of specs. It's got a 700 series Snapdragon processor, which is kind of midline. It's above the 600s, I believe, but of course below the 800s, so it's not going to offer as good a performance as the 855 processor from Snapdragon. We also have 6 gigs of RAM. A lot of phones these days have 8. 6 is still okay. 6 is still pretty standard, but 8 is a little bit better.
yeah.
Uh,
Eight's the new standard.
I think it also has relatively. Let's go ahead and fight some Guardians. See what's up. Let's bust out the. No, you know what? I always love fighting them with this. So I would say that 8 should be the standard. It also doesn't have a huge battery.
Yeah, the battery
There's
size is kind of
yeah, it's
it.
not a huge battery as far as I know. That is not going to help it out. And then we also have another problem with it. And this is why I say that I don't necessarily like these phones, because in concept, it actually doesn't sound that bad. In concept, this phone sounds kind of cool and kind of neat. And it has some nostalgia for me because I remember the first Razr. Now, I didn't have one, but I like it. You know,
Oh,
and
I
it was
had
around
one.
my time.
It
So
was really cool.
you got some serious nostalgia. I just have some average nostalgia. So here's my biggest problem with these phones. This phone is going to be $1,500, and it's not even a phone that is fully spec'd out. So if it was a fully spec'd out phone, I might be able to forgive that a little bit, but I feel like I can't forgive that because it's not a fully spec'd out phone, and that makes me extremely frustrated. Whew.
Yeah.
Okay, I got smashed by that one. Yeah, but that's why I say it's really tough for me to justify a purchase of that phone. I couldn't spend $1,500, not have a flagship phone or not have flagship specs, um,
Yeah.
have a folding display, which means it's going to be a lot more breakable. It's going to be a lot more of a, you know, hassle in terms of it breaking. I could spend $1,000 and get the nicest, newest iPhone, which is super fast and is a flagship device. You could have an iPhone 11 Pro for $1,000.
Yeah.
You spend less money and you really honestly get a better phone with only a slightly smaller display, but with a multitude of cameras. So it's like, this is where I'm saying I think in concept these folding phones aren't that bad. But in practice, I'm having a hard time justifying these folding phones because it's you have my axe is gone. Um, yeah, in concept, you have an interesting device, but in practice, you do not have an interesting device because it ends up kind of being bogged down in a sense by its price tag. The price tag is just so
Yeah.
astronomically high that you couldn't necessarily justify picking up the product. That's
Yeah,
where I
the price
stand with
point is
this.
very. We're stepping into a whole nother like a whole nother area of over $1,000 for a phone. You know, like it's a whole nother ball game now. It's it's crazy.
I agree, and that's why it's so. That's why I don't like this that much. I don't like the concept of folding phones because you end up having these phones are just so expensive. I just can't get past the price of the phones. It's not an acceptable price tag, and that one's the cheapest folding phone that we've seen so far that I know of. That's a mainline phone, and it's still $1,500. It's just not justifiable. I would much rather spend
Yeah.
$1,500 and get the nicest iPhone 11 Pro Max with a bigger screen anyway, and a much better build quality, a much more solid build quality. Like I said, like these are feats of engineering, these hinges and stuff, and I'm not going to deny that it's impressive in a sense what they're able to pull off. But at the same time, is it justifiable to be a product that people should be buying? Like, should it really find itself on store shelves?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I now I'm just blabbering on, but I'm. This is why these are part of the reasons why I find it so bad in terms of when it comes to being an actual product available to users, to end users, for us to purchase. Just not doing so
Yeah.
good against this Guardian. I did great, and then I got my butt kicked. So, anyways, I wanted to talk about that because I thought it was an interesting concept. Honestly, if that phone was like $700 or $800, I would pick it up. Like, I'd actually just pick it up for the novelty of it.
Yeah.
If it were $700 or $800, but because it's so expensive, I just can't justify it. You know,
Yeah.
and that's where I find a lot of the problems with these folding phones. I can't justify getting a $2,000 folding phone from Samsung. That's so astronomically high. It'd be embarrassing to tell somebody I spent $2,000 on a phone. It was embarrassing when I told people I spent $1,100 on the iPhone 10. And that was like a new concept to have a phone that was like a full display. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways,
Yeah. No, I completely agree with
it
you.
it never ends.
It
It's just
doesn't.
the
It's only
concept of
gonna get
just being
worse.
more and more expensive. Yeah. Oh, I hate these guys. There's these little guys that pop up periodically and they just harass you and they're super irritating. Anybody that has played this game knows.
Harassment sounds illegal.
Yeah, that's illegal. That's what I have to say to that. Well, anyways, that's kind of all I had to say about the folding phone. Was there anything that you had to say? You said you had an Easter egg?
Yeah, I remembered something that I did want to mention because it is kind of fresh. For those of you
Look at that
players
big
who
hearty
are
radish.
familiar with Half Life, they
Oh, that's right.
recently announced a VR version of a new Half Life that's coming out called Half Life Alex or
Yeah,
um,
yeah, I think you're right.
Alex,
It's Half
whatever.
Life Alex.
But
Yeah.
I saw that they were going with the VR, the Valve Index, and my gosh, I have. what a time to be alive. People have been waiting for a Half-Life game, a new one, for like what 20 years,
For
damn
a
near or
very,
something
very
like.
long time.
And
Um,
it's happening, people. 2020. It says available March 2020. So I will be pre-ordering that, and I will be playing it, and I will be sharing my feelings on that. Um, I just wanted to say that, like, Half-Life, people, Half-Life, it's
that's
here,
what's
it's
up.
coming.
That is honestly that's exciting. And now, you might know a little bit more because you do PC gaming. I don't do PC gaming. Did you ever play the Half Life games?
I did.
Oh, he's
I
still
played
alive.
every single one of them,
Oh, really?
and you know,
Okay, so are you excited for this new Half Life game, or would you have preferred to have gotten a Half Life 3?
oh, I'm happy. Like, I'm
This is
really
this is
wanting to
enough for
be
you
more
right now.
immersed. This is actually ideal. I'd
More than
rather have
enough?
this than a
Okay.
Half-Life 3. Yeah. Because, like, I have an Oculus Rift, and
Yeah.
I'm really trying to get more into VR gaming because I love the immersibility. Is that a word? Immersibility? Well, the
The
immersion of
immersiveness,
VR.
the immersion, yeah, that was the right one.
Yeah.
We found it.
We found it. But, like,
Not
this
bad.
is a way for people who have been with the franchise, and maybe even new people, to really get a whole nother feel of the franchise. Like, it's the best thing I could have asked for. And I,
That's
I think a
good.
lot of, yeah, it's not only gonna boost their sales of their Vive,
Yeah.
but it's gonna boost it's Half Life. People are gonna buy it. There's no one who's not gonna buy a Half Life that has played a previous Half Life. I'm just saying.
That's
So
pretty much true. I think it's going to be an instant bestseller just for that reason alone. Like you said, I don't know. I mean, I might have to check it out. I don't really PC game. I'm more of a console gamer. As you can
yeah,
see, I'm playing the Switch. I'm okay with playing
yeah.
games that
And
don't have
I
the best of graphics and stuff. And I don't know. I've always been okay with not having the best of the PC gaming industry.
and
I'd be
they
excited to
they
get a peek into it though.
yeah, they actually made a version for Xbox. It's called the Orange Box Collection.
Oh yeah, they made
This
one
was
for
back on the
PlayStation as well, but I
360.
heard that it was absolutely horrible for the PlayStation.
Oh, I have not heard that.
Well, the PlayStation 3, I mean, let's not get too far into it, but the PlayStation 3 had a lot of really big development issues because their engine, it just wasn't quite as good as the way that Microsoft developed the Xbox. Like, developing games for the PlayStation
Oh yeah,
3
I heard about
were
that.
allegedly really ridiculously, it just posed a lot of challenges. And even though the PlayStation 3 was more powerful, there were actually a lot of games that looked better on Xbox, purely because it was so hard to develop for the PlayStation 3. They didn't go with the x86 architecture, and that's why the PlayStation 4 is much better, because they did go with the x86 architecture. Um, anyways, so as mentioned, yeah, I'm excited to see how fans receive that game. I mean, that's exciting to see that Half Life is coming out, and for those that love Half Life, they finally get something for it. Because it's been gone for so long. I mean, it was basically a dead franchise. It's kind of funny that they brought it back, but I guess because it hung around for so long, that's what the power of fandom can do. Um,
Yeah. Now we
let's
just need another
see.
Left for Dead.
Yeah,
Valve, you
I mean
listening?
that's true. Actually, a lot of people do love Left 4 Dead. It's funny because Valve was such a big developer, and like people. I mean, I guess not really a big developer, but they developed some stuff that was
Yeah, Counter
phenomenal.
Strike.
Like people love, and
Yeah.
so it's weird to me that they didn't keep developing. Just hire
Publishing.
outside studios. Just pay to publish those games. Exactly. Um,
Yeah.
let's see. I kind of had one more thing to say. Oh yeah, I really with this capture device, I do plan on working on a couple videos. But I'm probably gonna post them on my solo channel. Let's geek out together. Um, that's all one word. But I don't expect to get like a bunch of viewers from our podcast because I don't think that we have tons and tons of listeners at this time. But I do want to try to bring out some videos, and then hopefully I can bring a little attention to our podcast, and that would be helpful. I would
I
love
will,
to do that.
and I will be watching.
That sounds good. And then we can chat about what I have coming out. Now, I don't really want to talk too much about my little plan, my idea. I love the idea of being able to make Nintendo videos, though, now, because they had a creators program. It's gone now. Thank everyone for that. The creators program was awful. They took like 18% of the total take of a YouTuber's revenue, and YouTube just let them do it, which was shockingly stupid. And I'm just so glad it's gone. I mean, it's the right call. It shouldn't have been around in the first place. I don't know if I missed my Attack in the Clan Wars, but now that's all I can think about.
It was cool. It was useless.
It was futile. We were completely destroyed.
We were completely destroyed.
Oh, that's okay. We'll get them next time. Anyways, that's kind of yeah. I just want to end on that note. I don't really have anything else to say. I think that about covers it for me. Anything else?
Half-Life Alex. That's it.
Half-Life Alex. Pick it up.
Pick it up.
Yeah, pick it up.
Pre-order. Give Gavin your money.
Yes.
Or Gabe. Sorry, it was
Gabe. Yeah.
Gabe, yeah.
Come on. Get the ferry. Can we end on a high note? Get the ferry. It's like just out of reach. I think it's gonna fly away. The ferry, if you startle them, they fly away. We need this last ferry.
The
with
fairy
all
godmother.
the hope and dreams. I'm not gonna get it. Fly a little lower, guy. Fly a little lower. A little lower. We got him. All right, perfect. All right, we can end on that note. All right, until next time, Victor. Until next time, podcast listeners, we have been super bad about paying attention to how many episodes we have. I have had nothing but problems for some reason plaguing my audio, my ability to blend our audio together and get it out there. So Victor has graciously taken that upon him for the time being. Hopefully we have more regular episodes, and I really want to bring some YouTube content out other than just the super long podcast with gameplay. So hopefully we can get some stuff in the works. I swear we say this every time, but eventually we'll mean it. Anyways, thank you very much for listening, and we will see you all next time.
Yes. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.
And good night. And drive safe.
And don't text.